talk about Chicago real quick. For all these brain dead activists that run around and say, Chicago is safe, why would President Trump be racist? He shouldn't even be having people in Chicago. He just deploying the military. Okay, let's look at some numbers real quick, and then I'm gonna play some idiots on the news media, and I'm also gonna play MSNBC, who they actually agreed for one time and got it right when it comes to the coordination that should be had between Pritzker and President Trump in curbing violence. So as projected, which I could have told you this, I'd have bet money on it, that there was a mass shooting incident, multiple mass shooting incidents in Chicago over Labor Day weekend, which is what happens every holiday, every 3-day weekend in Chicago. 54 people were shot. 7 of them have been killed. Multiple mass shooting reported. Then you go down the list, and I'm going to talk about the specific people that have been shot because I said this on another video. I remember a long time ago, Chicago tracks the people that get shot, and they'll have names and all this other stuff, and it was horrific. I looked at 52 people or something like that, and all of them were black, and all of them were between the age of 16 and like 35. It literally brought me to tears. Like I started tearing up when I looked at it because I felt bad for all those young brothers that lose their life in Chicago, and nobody cares. All right, let's get to the news clips real quick because I think this is important to notate. So the Chicago's Alderman called Donald Trump a dictator. And I want you to hear what he had to say because there's a lot to discuss here. So let's put that on the screen, roll the film.
How do you respond to the argument that there were something like 50 plus shootings, 52 people, I should say, were shot in Chicago, 30 different shootings over the holiday weekend, 7 people killed. Aren't numbers like that still a problem that your city needs to address? What more can be done to address that?
Well, I think that what we need to do is we also had a mass shooting in a Catholic school. We also have had many instances where the administration has really escalated, exacerbated the violence in our country, in our cities. Trump is a dictator. I think we got to be very clear. He's trying to normalize violence. He's trying to normalize military deployment in American cities like LA, DC, Chicago, and many others to come. But what we have not seen is really a systemic investment that will actually address the core issues. I had shootings in my ward. One of them was a tragic shooting of an unhoused neighbor. So the Trump administration is saying that they're going to address the issue of unhoused residents by putting them in jails, in concentration camps.
Now, am I biased for saying this? But he just sounds stupid. It's like people that live in America and seem like they can't even speak English as their first language. They just sound a little bit more ignorant than normal. And I'm just saying, I'm talking about people who are the aldermen of Chicago. Now, and not a person that just came here off the boat, somebody just trying to make a living. The people that are in government positions that cannot clearly speak English, and English is their second language, it's crazy to me. That's one thing I'll never understand. But it's funny that he say that and he don't address the real issue and say that Trump is trying to militarize deployment of federal troops. When you look at it, Donald Trump can't deploy federal troops in other states. He could do it in DC very easily because it's written into our Constitution, it's written into the authority that the President of the United States has that he can activate in that particular city because it's not like a regular state, right? It is the capital, it is the epicenter of the federal government. And so the commander-in-chief has the right to do that unilaterally. Now, when it comes to other states, he can't really deploy military troops, or it would be National Guard, without the governor's approval. However, if he uses the Insurrection Act, which if the crime rates are going down and it's not really a scenario that's out of control like it was in DC, I think that it's hard for him to do that. But if he does use that act, he could activate the National Guard there to do the same thing they did in DC. Now, why would anybody be against that? Even MSNBC agreed with Donald Trump on this, and I would say agreed with people who have common sense that why wouldn't Pritzker, and I hope I'm saying his name right, why wouldn't he, in conjunction with President Trump, have a meeting and talk through, this is the strategy that we can do together. You have resources, I have resources, let's pool our resources together and let's be on one accord. But because they have Trump derangement syndrome, they can't do it.
Hey, y'all, hold on real quick. I got to tell you this. I bet you $1 million y'all didn't know this. Only 3 mobile providers on all of the cell phone towers in America. When you work with Patriot Mobile, you can pick one of the providers that work best for you. And that's the uniqueness of Patriot Mobile. Switch to the only Christian conservative provider today. All you got to do is go to patriotmobile.com/Tatum or call 972-PATRIOT and get a free month of service with promo code Tatum.
So let's play the MSNBC clip 1, because I think they actually, for once in a while, had some common sense on this show and pushed back against the leftist narrative. Roll the clip.
In Chicago over the weekend, at least 54 people were shot. This is just over Labor Day weekend, 7 killed. Several of the incidents were mass shootings with multiple victims at a single scene. In one instance, a teenage girl was hit with a stray bullet. The violence comes as President Trump threatens to send federal agents and National Guard troops to Chicago to quell the crime there, despite objections from the city's mayor, Brandon Johnson, and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. Unfortunately, Joe, this is not unusual in Chicago, which has been plagued by gun violence for generations, not years, for generations.
54 people shot this weekend in Chicago, 7 killed. I mean, and those numbers just keep piling up.
Concern is you have leaders in Chicago that see this, as you say. We've been reading about this for years now, every weekend, and maybe crime has gone down. But, we had the mayor of Chicago on last week saying, oh, we don't need any more police officers. Police officers aren't the answer. No police officers. I think he said no 5 times. You look what's happening this weekend. You look so, I actually think that J.B. Pritzker should do something radical. I think he should pick up the phone, call the president, and say, and I know, you don't have the constitutional authority to deploy the National Guard here and to police my. You can do that in D.C., you can't do that in Chicago. But let's partner up. These are the most dangerous parts of my state. We would love to figure out how to have a partnership that's constitutional, that respects the sort of balance of federalism between the federal government and the state government. And let's work together to save lives. Because right now, just hey, nothing to see here moving along. No problem here. Hey, Donald Trump, we don't need you. And, the mayor talking about we're going to protect people's dignity in our city. Well, protect their lives. That's protecting their dignity. It would be radical for us to figure out a way to actually do what I've been saying from the very beginning on Washington, and that is seeing politicians creating partnerships that protect their people.
Come on, somebody. Was that the end of the clip? Come on, somebody. I agree with him. Now, I ain't never in my life agreed with Morning Joe before, but I agree with him. Why can't Pritzker call Donald Trump? Why can't Pritzker, Donald Trump, and Brandon Johnson get on the phone together and say, what can we do? All of Chicago don't need military enforcement. It's only the hood where the Negroes live that people tend to neglect. And I said this, I'll say this for 100 years if I live 100 years. Is that why is Jen Psaki crying on TV because 2 children died at a Catholic school? And I said this, not one time do these people talk about it. Do they cry about it? Do they make it a big deal? Do they want a T-shirt? Do they demand justice? Where's Al Sharpton? Where are these black leaders at to demand justice for 7 people that died?
It's just gone from bad to worse to disaster.
No one really feels safe. It's impossible to feel safe in a city like this, especially with the leadership we have.
These kids are carrying guns like around the ages of 8 years old, and they're killing other 8-year-old kids with guns. It's insane.
My opinion, not enough police officers. The police officers' hands are tied.
So the police is really unappreciative for offhand under Brandon Johnson, Lori Lightfoot, J.B. Pritzker. Those are 3 are the reason why nobody want to be a police.
Their policies when it comes to crime is not working at all.
I think the biggest piece of the pie has to be more police officers, more protection. That's what the people want.
Let me just point it out. In Bronzeville, 2 mass shootings happened. 7 wounded outside of a public safety headquarters. Outside public safety headquarters. In East Garfield Park, drive-by shooting, 1 dead, 1 injured. At Algo, I think it's called Alderman. I don't know. I think it's called Gold Garden. I think it's called Gold Garden. I could be saying this wrong. I went to public school. Okay. So Gold Garden, a 43-year-old woman killed by multiple shooters. Then in Pilsen, triple shooting, 1 dead, 2 wounded. In West Inglewood, which is the hood. 33-year-old man killed inside residence. In Pullman, 26-year-old woman killed after an altercation. In Oakland, Chicago, shooting injuring 5, including 17-year-old in critical condition. In West Elsden, you have 48-year-old man shot in abdomen, critical condition. This is in one weekend. And to be honest, this is almost every weekend. The holiday weekend is even juicier. I remember when I was a cop, I think it was 2016 or something like that. I can't remember what year it was, but I remember it was 82 shootings. And I said, it's impossible. There's no way it's 82 shootings in one city. That's impossible. In the city of Tucson, we probably have about 13 murders a year. And it was dangerous in Tucson. Maybe it's 13, a little low, but it was something like super low like that. It rarely do we have people get murdered in Tucson, even though it was super dangerous. Then you look at Chicago and you're like, 82 shootings in one weekend? We barely have 82 shootings in a year. 82 in one weekend, 14 people died. A massacre happened over the weekend. Nobody talks about it. Let's get to some more videos. It's one more news clip that I want to play. No, not a news clip, but just a glimpse of reality. When the politicians are saying there's nothing to see here, this is what people have to deal with at a soccer game. Let's put that clip on the screen. This is the brother right here in the middle of a shooting. Shout out to David Harris Jr. for the clip. In the middle of a shooting, articulating what he experienced as a brother refereeing a sports game. Roll the clip.
In Chicago, everybody got to get down. Everybody got to get down because they shoot. Everybody down. Look, these kids are running. They shooting. We can't have no fun in Chicago, man. No fun, man. This is terrible. I'd have thrown a goddamn flag. Cause this y'all neighborhood.
This might be over with, because I gotta figure this out, man.
Now, when you see this, some people think that the guy's being hyperbolic. No, it's not. 50-some people shot over the weekend is crazy. 82 shootings, 100 shootings over the weekend is crazy. And I can pull up any video on the internet right now and show you guys of just the sheer violence and chaos that happens in some of these inner cities. People just getting shot, disagreeing at the grocery store. I mean, it's out of control. And Chicago's gun laws are probably some of the strictest in the country. But the funny thing is, they never cry about gun laws when brothers are killing each other in Chicago. It's only when it gets to, I'm going to tell you what, I think Eminem had a rap song that alluded to this. And I can't think of the name. I am whatever you say I am. I think it's that song. And then he goes and says that it's only until they get in the middle America, now it's a tragedy. Now it's so sad to see. It's like when it's in the hood, nobody cares. When his brothers killing each other, even the brothers don't care. When it gets to middle America, where you got young kids experiencing what people experience every day in the hood, in the black hoods in America, now people care. Now they want to end the gun violence. Now they want to do something about guns. Now they want to do this. Now they want to talk about solutions. They don't want to talk solutions when it's the brothers killing each other. And that's why when I was at the press corps, in the press pool at the White House, that's why I asked that question about Chicago, because no president has done really much of anything. Donald Trump is the only one that's at least trying to do something, and then they want to reject every effort he's making. But no other president has done anything about Chicago violence. You got what's his name, Barack Obama, who came from Chicago and did more for the LGBTQ than the violence in the inner city community that he came from, which was the state that he came from. Anyway,